Hello and welcome back to Scottish Gas Murrayfield for the showpiece of Silver Saturday, and it is the Sarah Beaney Cup Final, and this year it's going to be contested between Hillhead, Jordanhill and Watsonians. And they are two teams that know each other very, very well, especially on this stage. They have contested 4 of the last 5 Sarah Beaney Cup Finals, and they share the spoils at 2 apiece. Watsonians, the current holders, after defeating Hillhead Jordanhill 34 points to 5 last year in this fixture. They'll be hoping to retain it yet again and take it back to my side. It's been an action-packed day here at Scottish Gas Murrayfield, and this is how it's going to finish between these two sides contesting the Sarah Beaney Cup. This is a chance to have a little look at the lineups ahead of kick-off. Start with Hillhead Jordanhill. Philippa Abernethy is going to line up in the front row. She's going to be opposite her twin sister Katie, who lines up for Watsonians. And then they've got a formidable back row in Debbie Lee, Jasmine Hall and the captain Kate Yeamans. Midfield, Hannah Dunnett and Abby Bruce will bring a bit of impetus, and then look out for Roma Fraser at fullback. We've got pace to burn, and we'll be looking to try and find some space in this wide, expansive pitch here at Murrayfield. The current holders, Watsonians, there's 16 survivors from the victory against Hillhead Jordanhill last year. Rachel Law will captain the side from fullback. Briar McNamara is the top point scorer for Watsonians so far this season, and she'll be looking to add to her tally 21 tries in 13 appearances. So we'll be certainly looking to stamp her mark on this game. Lottie Russell and Anna Swan are in the middle row, and then Ailey Tucker, Caris Craig and Kate Abernethy line up in the front row. Very experienced sides, know each other very well, and alongside me for this fixture is Sarah Bell, and this is going to be a competitive game. They've met each other on numerous occasions so far this season, intertwined with the Celtic Challenge, but it's a different stage. It's winner takes all in the final here, and it's always an interesting game between these two sides.
Dale. Yes, it is. Like you say, it's going to be set to be an interesting game, right enough. And like you say, these are two teams who know each other very, very well, and none more so than 2 players in the front row, like you've already mentioned.
So a little run back in terms of how did these sides get to this stage. Well, they went through a league phase to see who would finish first and second in that league. Watsonians suffered 1 defeat against Heriots, whereas Hillhead Jordanhill, they suffered 2, one against Stirling County, and there was a 34-28 loss against Watsonians. So Watsonians coming into this game slight favourites. Not only did they top the pool stage of the Sarah Beaney Cup, but they also had 2 victories over the rivals in the regular league season. Watsonians unlucky to miss out on the Premiership playoff, finishing in 3rd position, joint point tally with Stirling County. But there was victories in there against Hillhead Jordanhill. There was a 24-5 victory, and then away from home they had a 35 points to 19 victory as well. And now we have both sides coming onto the field. Kate Yeamans is leading on Hillhead Jordanhill, whereas Rachel Law is leading her side onto the pitch. And all the talking is done. This is when the leaders in the playing squad start to take central focus and really put their mark on the game and their squad ahead of this, because really it's now just up to the players. All the talking has been done, all the preparation. It's now about doing the talking on the pitch.
Yeah, it is, and you can see both teams there just in their huddles ahead of kick-off and going through their last preparations and their last team talks, like you say. So a penny for their thoughts at the moment right now.
Final conversations in the match. will be officiated by Beatrice Cesares Fernandez. MC Dixon and Niamh Hay are going to support our match official this afternoon. The final game on Silver Saturday. Victories for Earlston, Wigstownshire, Lindsay, Hillhead, Jordanhill men picked up the National League Cup. Annan and then GHA Scottish Cup winners. It's now up to Watsonians and Hillhead, Jordanhill to see where the destination of the Sarah Beaney Cup will go. And it's going to be Watsonians to get us underway.
Backwards.
It's been palmed back from Hillhead, Jordanhill as Watsonians look to put some early pressure on Hills. Away from the base by Miles. Some space almost opening up for an early break, but well marshalled by this Watsonians defence. Millie Warren distributing the ball to some forwards willing to truck the ball up.
Good job. Take it back.
Sitting back in the pocket is Millie Warren and clears her lines, and Brian McNamara gathers, distributes centre field. Now the captain, Rachel Law. Good footwork, and then it is Brian McNamara now charging downfield. A couple of Hills players scragging onto the jersey. Been well to recycle herself and try and get in a position to distribute the ball, but it's been turned over by Hills. Fired away from Miles. And these early exchanges are being played inside Hills territory. Been met with some confrontational tackles as well from Watsonians. It's another opportunity for Millie Warren to clear her lines. Well gathered by Law. And wrapping round there is April McKenzie. And it's a big pass out wide. And it is an opportunity to try and stretch her legs. Amy Conchi darting back in field.
Backwards.
Second rows, Lottie Russell and Anna Swan linking up now. Watsonians look to settle into this Sarah Beaney Cup Final. Put a lot of pressure on in the opening exchanges. A great offload out of the challenge. Watsonians start to sneak their way towards that line. Big ball out wide. Brian McNamara now looking to offload. Isn't able to find space, and it's Watsonians who are going to strike the first blow. And Phaedra Snellam is going to dive over for an opening try for Watsonians. And it was patient build-up straight from the kick-off. Watsonians exerting pressure on Hills, not able to clear their lines, and they've been punished by Watsonians, and they get the first try in the final.
They do, and like you say, they've been really, really patient in their build-up there, and really clinical as well. Whilst they might not have got through the gain line in the first break, they certainly got through in the second or third attempt, and I think that was really created there by Brian McNamara as well, even though that it was her the winger that scored it.
You see the danger that Brian McNamara has early stages. Charge and run up this west stand. Really drags the opposition defence in. Chance to add the extras now. April McKenzie. That smacks the left hand upright and comes back onto the pitch. So it's just going to be the 5 points, but it's a professional start from Watsonians. It's they knew exactly what they wanted to do in the opening exchanges, and they were able to get this try.
Yeah, like you say, it's a professional start, and with 16 people returning there from the squad that was here last year as well, they'll be used to it. Maybe slightly more used to it than a few of the Hills players, and that's not to go against them, but it's experience, and this is a really, really large pitch to play on here at Scottish Gas Murrayfield, and if you're not used to it, it can take you by surprise.
There's a little break just as the player gets a little bit of treatment. It does look like it's the captain, Kate Yeomans.
Do I need you to wash out the blood? Is that possible? Can you wash out? Yeah.
Had some running repairs. happy to continue.
Thank you.
Just what you see from a captain as well, just not wanting to leave the field of play.
Yeah, exactly. This is Kate's third cup final as well for Hills as well. So whilst there might be those that have a few less appearances round about her, she's certainly one of those that it's her 54th appearance for Hills today, which is a huge achievement in itself.
Millie Warren launches the ball downfield to get play back underway. Watsonians let that ball bobble and bounce in their own 22, and able to settle and gather the ball.
You did?
Go through the repertoire to try and exit downfield.
Have a step. You did? Take him back!
Launch back, Briar McNamara.
Keep going through.
A right-footed swing and get some good distance on that ball as well. Not able to catch out Roma Fraser. And this is the territory that she loves. And she's able to try and filter the ball out wide. Abby Bruce not able to gather the ball at the first attempt. Briar McNamara acts as first receiver. Front row forwards charging up.
We're going back to the knock-on.
A fumble there, referee calls for the scrum. And now a chance for the Abernethys to lock horns.
Yeah, like you already touched on, the twin sisters there in the front row, which is a unique set of circumstances, that's for sure. And I'm sure they know each other very, very well, and their playing styles very well as well.
Yeah, this will be an interesting battle on that side of the scrum where match official Cesar Fernandez loiters. Mary Nelson waits by the tunnel. Rolls the ball in and it's relatively stationary. Maybe an agreement between the sisters, but McNamara brings Law into play. Nelson is able to get the ball wider, and then an injection of pace takes Watsonians over the halfway line. Again, Nelson stoops down to distribute that ball. Freya Walker this time. Watsonians running with a lot of intent. Abernethy now carrying forward towards that 10-metre line. Patient build-up play. McNamara looking to get the ball through her hands, just not able to. So Kate Yeamans is able just to pick her pocket. And the referee will bring it back for the knock-on. But there's a real direction, real style of play from Watsonians. They know exactly what they want to be doing.
Yeah, 5 minutes, 6 minutes rather into the first half here, and you can see that Watsonians do have their game plan, and they're certainly looking to execute it. At the moment, you can see that they've got a lot of really strong runners, both in the backs and the forwards, and we saw their prop Ailey Tucker taking the ball up a couple of times, and just the power that she holds and the experience that she holds, obviously with being with Glasgow Warriors and Celtic Challenge as well. Do her well on this stage.
Let's give it a stable, okay? Let's give the guy on the back.
Ailey Tucker, a player who's played in the last couple of finals. Victories against Hillhead, Jordanhill and Corstorphine Cougars. 2024 and 2023. 12 players in this Watsonian squad who have tasted success here in the last few years. As Warren gets the ball through the hands. Bruce bounces off her right leg to try and straighten up the angle of attack. Kate McGowan, as it starts to break free from Hills, able to slip a couple of challenges. An opportunity out wide if the ball can get through the hands. Fraser weaves her way out of trouble. And again, another carry and an offload this time as Warren launches the ball out wide, but it's great defence from Giselle Chico. Just able to sprint out of the defensive line just to stop the attacking momentum from Hills.
No, you kill the ball. You just keep going on your feet, okay?
A chance for Hills to nibble away at this touchline and start to grow into this game. Enjoyed a lot of possession over the last 2 or 3 minutes, and they're able to find touch.
And make sure you come through the gate.
The first real occasion where they've been able to get inside the Watsonians' half.
Yeah, like you say, Dale, they're really starting to grow into the game now. We're still only 8 minutes into the first half, but we can see that Hills they're starting to link up their phases of play a lot better than they were maybe in the very first stages of the game, and they'll look to certainly do something from this set piece.
Francis Campbell does well to find their target, and the forwards wrapping up well. The outside backs now coming into play, and the slight figure of Fraser is able to brush off challenges that are coming towards her. McGowan, then to Warren. Hannah done it. This is better from Hillhead Jordanhill. Been able to shake off that early try that they've conceded and starting to grow into this game. Millie Warren is playing with a little bit more prominence now as well. He just runs down a blind alley, which results in a penalty. And again, Brian McNamara will be trying to get some good territory here. Kick this down the field and start to swing momentum back in the way of Watsonians.
Yeah, let's see what they're opted to do from this, but I think it'll be exciting exactly whatever they choose to do, and like you say, with Brian McNamara putting a huge distance on that kick as well. We'll let's see what they're going to do.
Yeah, the games that I've watched with Brian McNamara, she's always had a presence on the game, and certainly starting to show that in the early stages. One big powerful carry, and she's made some good gains as well with that kick downfield. An accurate line out. It peels off, and now a chance for the backs to get into this game. Law travels forward with the ball in hand and hauled down to ground. Wrapping round now, April McKenzie.
Back.
Nelson, McKenzie. Then Hannah Swan carrying. Kate Abernethy. She's been a focal point in the early stages of this game, Abernethy. As has Brian McNamara, who again just punctures the Hills defence. Inside the 22 now. Nelson trying to get the ball away quickly. So Jordanhill look to take the sting out of this passage of play. As again Kate Abernethy breaks through the defence. Looking to try and go against the grain, but this is a dangerous bobbling ball inside Hill's territory. Well dealt with. And they'll breathe a sigh of relief as well as the match official signals the penalty. But perhaps there was an opportunity to build a little bit more momentum. Perhaps a kick wasn't the option to go for. But Hillhead Jordanhill still deep inside their own half. And it's a good touch found there from Millie Warren.
Yeah, like you say, a little bit of relief there from Hills, I think, and the touch finder was good enough. I think it's good enough position for them to counter attack from here, and we'll see how this line out goes.
Another opportunity to throw in for Francis Campbell, and again she's able to find her target, just looping it over into the palms of Kate McGowan. She's been another key figure for this Hillhead Jordanhill side early on, as she pops up again and just ghosts round the corner. Ball ripped in contact, and again Watsonians enjoy possession. Looking to try and make the most of a disjointed and unstructured Hills defence, which has afforded a little bit of time to reorganise as the ball was almost caught in flight by Hillhead Jordanhill rushing up, but secure again in the hands of Watsonians. Charge forward. The support arrives just to nudge it forward a couple of metres more. Mackenzie just sized through, great footwork as well. It's almost an opportunity, the cover defence just stopping all opportunities that were afforded to Watsonians, and now there's a chance out wide. They're screaming for it in the corner, and that is excellent cover defence from Hillhead Jordanhill. And you've got to say that's potentially an opportunity that's passed Watsonians by.
Yeah, absolutely. April Mackenzie there, you saw her see that there wasn't quite the right support lines next to her, so she took it herself, and fair play to her, she got up the pitch and she made some yards, and it was on there, to score out wide.
Definitely an opportunity to add to their try from Snailham.
Crouch!
As it is, it's a defensive scrum for Hills. And it's a powerful scrum from Watsonians, but the match official signalling it's been turning. Not driving in straight.
On the line.
So yet again, penalty. Penalty's been given to Hillhead Jordanhill, and they've squeezed every last drop out of that kick. Almost looked like it was not going to go out, but they've just been able to escape the pitch, and they'll be happy with that kick and that exit.
Yeah, exactly, and they've worked their way back up the field, and they're out of the danger zone ultimately, which is exactly what you want, being in a situation like that.
Are you in? Sorry, are you in the 15, please?
Again, that partnership working well of Campbell and McGowan. Hills look to unlock this Watsonians defence again across quick
Play the high tackle, okay?
to thwart the danger.
You have the advantage, guys.
Advantage for the challenge, just riding a bit high.
To play the advantage.
Millie Warren looks to try and release a teammate, but
You watch out for that, okay?
runs to ground.
Yes, around the shoulder. Marahim.
Yeah, you can see what Hills are trying to do, and it's just not quite going to hand sometimes, but you can see exactly what they're trying to do in trying to get players into space and ultimately get the speedster that's their fullback Roma Fraser into space.
It's a good gain down the touchline as well. It's back into Watsonians territory. And Humans is introduced back to earth pretty promptly, as Fraser is just able to just pull a couple of Watsonians defenders out of the line, and it allows some space to stretch the legs for Beth Tobin, and she dives over for a try. Excellent work from Hillhead Jordanhill. They've started to settle into this game, and when the ball was in the hands of one of the danger players, Roma Fraser, the Watsonians defence was attracted towards that area, and it allowed space for Beth Tobin to stretch her legs, and it means we're all square here in the Sarah Beaney Cup.
Yeah, we could just see here from the set piece, they really used the breadth of the pitch, and it is a really big pitch here. And yes, Roma Fraser got the ball into her hands, but ultimately she done exactly what needed to be done, and passed it right out to her winger, who turned on the afterburners to get over the try line.
Rachel Law trying to cut off that angle, but just cannot match the pace of Beth Tobin. And perhaps the Watsonians defence just guilty of digging in. And two players in the same place at the wrong time. Afforded a little bit of space to exploit. And now Millie Warren with an opportunity to take the lead for Hillhead Jordanhill. And just goes in front of the posts. and it's been a really good reaction from Hillhead Jordanhill after conceding so early. They've had to absorb a lot of pressure as well, but they've reacted well and taken a really good opportunity.
They have reacted well, like you say, and what they've done is they've tried to keep the ball alive and out to their speedsters on the far side, but that's no discredit to their forwards, who are doing an excellent job in trucking it up and creating a platform for them to allow them to do that.
Almost a quarter of the game gone here at Scottish Gas Murrayfield, all square, 5 points all in Captain Yeoman's. Gathers and carries, and then Hillhead Jordanhill with a little bit more confidence now. Have the players linking up in the wider channels yet again. Tobin and Fraser. But it's been turned over. And Hillhead Jordanhill are going to have to react to get into a defensive shape yet again. Mackenzie, that flat pass. Abernethy charging forward yet again. Great energy from Abernethy early on, but Nelson is just knocked on at the base of the ruck there.
Yeah, that's really unlucky there from Nelson. You can see what they're trying to do is they're trying to generate quick ball and get that ball out to their backs or out to their supporting runners and get over the gain line almost every single time.
Okay, keep the long line, stay square, okay? And wait for the ball. Get out! Mine! Set!
Strong scrum yet again. And Brian McNamara is up quickly to try and quash any thoughts of an easy exit from inside their own territory. Tucker low in the challenge this time. As the ball tries to get away from the breakdown, it's fallen into a dangerous area, but again Hillhead Jordanhill able to press the reset button. Just run into trouble.
Yeah, fair play to Watsonians there. You can see what Hills are trying to do, and they're trying to build their attack, but ultimately they've went back in attack because credit to Watsonians' defence there, who've pushed them back at every opportunity.
And Brian McNamara sizes up that corner, finds touch. And now it's up to Caris Craig to make sure she can find her target. Bruce Miller and his Watsonians team will be looking for an instant response to conceding that try. Accurate from the line out and then trying to go down the blind side. It's still got a bit of momentum, but well repelled by Hillhead Jordanhill. The next wave of attack is set. He charges towards the line and the referee signals the try's been scored. I think it looks like Hayley Tucker has got over the try line. Second time of asking in that passage of play for Watsonians, but they're just able to barge their way over. Some cute play on the blind side. And Tucker gets into position. Gets the ball off of Nelson, is just able to barge her way over the line. Great body position and great support from her teammates. Just to wriggle over. Challenging conversion attempt to add the extras from out wide. It was a low stabbing effort, but just not able to find the middle of the posts. This is a great angle of this try here, and great work rate from the forwards from Watsonians.
Yeah, you can see from the line out there, they just went through their phases and they were patient as well, and Ali Tucker was patient to get that try.
10 points to 5. Watsonians now lead. Millie Warren has found the try scorer Tucker. She evades the first challenge and charges towards the 10-metre line. Communication to the match official as well about Hill's players not getting out of the road, so they've got a free ball to play with now. The Watsonians don't do much with, but they'll bring it back for the advantage there. And Hills will be disappointed with the way that they've reacted to conceding that try. It's always a coach killer when you give away a penalty or an easy escape so early after conceding or scoring. But Watsonians can't find touch, so Roma Fraser gathers the ball and filters it infield, and there's players lining up out wide for Hillhead Jordanhill, and that's a great offload. Well gathered as well in the wraparound there from Francis Campbell. It was a loose ball. Miles is just not able to put the ball in the perfect position for a rampaging Debbie Lee.
Here, okay?
And it's been fumbled forward.
Yeah, Debbie she'll be really frustrated by that. Debbie's been in and around the Hills setup for a very, very long time, and is a really experienced campaigner when it comes to cup finals and things like that. She, like we said, she's really experienced. She came through the pathway at Edinburgh University, so has played alongside a lot of girls who've got a lot of experience and a lot of talent as well. So, like we say, she's used to these sort of big occasions, and she'll be frustrated with that little stage.
Successful scrum, and Freya Walker picks and goes, and there's a potential opportunity here. The slip of the challenge, and Nelson goes forward but is just ushered off the pitch here at Scottish Gas Murrayfield. It's a great break, great awareness from Freya Walker just at the tail of that scrum, and see the ball was coming out at a rate of knots. And this is a high pressure line out now for Hillhead Jordanhill. Accurate so far from Francis Campbell. Must find her target. She's able to yet again. It's a partnership which is working incredibly well. McGowan at the apex gathers, is brought down, and Hills look to steady their ship. But Watsonians are ruthless there at that drive and maul, able to just swim their way through. And McNamara has got the ball into the wider channels now, and now it could be a foot race to the corner. Great cover defence there coming across from Beth Tobin. And again on the second occasion, the try line beckoning, Hills are able to scramble and win themselves a penalty, clear their lines. That's two occasions where Watsonians have ran into trouble perhaps.
Yeah, exactly, but also credit to Hills, and like you say, that cover tackle from Tobin there, that's not an easy tackle to make, especially in that area of the pitch, and on such a big occasion as well. So yeah, credit to Hills, and they've cleared their lines, and they'll be slightly less out of danger than they were in before.
Brian McNamara wading through her team there as the Hills players take stock, and they've spent a lot of this opening 26 minutes inside of their own 22, certainly in behind their 10-metre line. But you probably argue that on the balance of the way that the seasons went, especially against Watsonians, with the amount of territory that they've conceded, they'd probably be happy with just being down by the 5 points.
Yeah, like you say, it's been a really close season for them all season really, all the games that they've had. So to be only 5 points down, they'll not be too worried at this point in time. Be it that Watsonians have been piling on the pressure, I think Hills will be okay about this. They'll know exactly what they've got to do, and you can see Francis Campbell there just jogging to the touchline to take this line out.
Stephen Gill is watching on the dugout. The Jordanhill coach will be mostly happy with what he's seen so far, but that is the first misfire from the line out that we've seen from Hillhead.
Yeah, commentator's curse. Sorry for that one, Francis. That's my fault.
If it makes you feel any better, I thought I was going to do it at the 5 metre line before, but it did go to plan then. But she's been impeccable from throwing the line out so far. It's a game of rugby, it was only a matter of time before something did go wrong. But I think she'd much rather do it outside her 22 than 5 metres from the line. But it does afford an attacking opportunity for Watsonians. And it's another solid scrum that Nelson can fish the ball away into the path of Mackenzie. Brian McNamara just not able to gather, so Rachel Law has to get a strong body position to look after that ball. McNamara looking to make up for relinquishing the ball. Does so for a second occasion, and then is called in to make the challenge. Millie Warren swings the right foot. The ball ends up in the path of Mackenzie, and now Rachel Law options outside and fires a impressive pass. It's now into the path of Amy Conchi, and this time the support gets there quick enough. It's there to support the Watsonians left winger and keep the ball alive. Tucker, most recent try scorer in this game. A bit more intent in these carries from Watsonians, and that's an impressive one. Hitting a soft shoulder. Mackenzie. Pirouette there. McNamara in space. And it's a great supportive line from the inside centre. And rarely a game goes by that McNamara does not score a try. And she's got one in the Sarah Beaney Cup Final. And she extends the lead here. Another 5 points to the tally. And it was a bit more intent this time, a bit more urgency from Watsonians. He felt some of their attacks perhaps lacked that little bit of bite. But that carry there, Lottie Russell just able to get in behind and stops that fold from the defence. And then some good work, good offloading, and a good finish from McNamara.
Yeah, second row, Lottie Russell take a bow, because that's what set that try up there. And like you say, I think everyone on that pitch for Watsonians just knows exactly what their job is and exactly where they want to get the ball to. We saw a very, very rare mistake from McNamara just earlier on, but she certainly made up for it with that supporting line and that try too.
Conversion attempt looks good from this angle, and it does sneak over the crossbar. So April Mackenzie is able to add the additional 2 points. And it was great work there, great pirouette, is able to find McNamara in some space. And it is the easiest of finishes. A lot of impressive direct running from the inside centre. Showed a great burst of pace. He has gathered from the restart up towards the 10 metre line. Nelson digs about in the ruck to try and get the ball back, but match official has spotted there's been a fumble there. And just as I said for Hills before, I'm sure it'll be the same from Watsonians. They'll be disappointed to react in that fashion after scoring a try. Knock on, gives possession back to Hills.
They will be, but these are all mistakes that they can know how to reset, and you know, your holding ons, your knock-ons, and your hands in the ruck thing, penalties and knock-ons and things like that. These are things that they can fix, and they know how to fix. Like we say, it's a big occasion, the Sarah Beaney Cup Final, and some of these players have not been involved in that before, and it will take a little while to settle into it.
Warren, the fly half for Hillhead. Jordanhill gets the ball wider through the hands to Abe Bruce. And a bit too expansive, a bit too quick for Hills. Relentless in defence from Watsonians, able to suffocate that ball. And again, another chance to kick downfield. So scrum called centre field. Brian McNamara is a big kicker. She's got an impressive right boot on her. There was a slight suggestion of a little limp earlier on, and I do wonder whether centre field, she was maybe perhaps thinking that to try and save herself, maybe just call for the scrum, get settled ball, because she's certainly capable of finding a good touch from there.
She is, but you also look at the back line that the Watsonians have got, and I think every other person in that back line will probably back themselves to run it.
The three defenders from Hill have to drift across. Shiko carries forward. The forwards in their pack manage to get round. Nelson quickly distributes the ball from the base, the ball being kept alive. Watsonians trying to shift the point of attack. Nelson again, quick from the breakdown. Impressive drive forward, but clinging on round the ankles. Hillhead Jordanhill managed to cling on. McNamara bounces back in field. The support arrives. Mackenzie puts boot to ball, stabs one in behind for her teammates to chase. Waiting there was Roma Fraser. Tries to go up the short side and offload it back in field, but the defence was wary of the danger of the Hills fullback.
They were. Hills are trying everything, and you can see exactly what they're trying to do, but Watsonians' defence, it's holding strong.
Watsonians do have a clear brand or style of play that you can see in this game. They also are stopping Hillhead Jordanhill getting any real momentum in this game so far. Not really seen what Hillhead Jordanhill are capable of yet. Probably due to the relentless defensive nature of Watsonians. They bring the ball down, they're quick to pump the legs and drive towards that line. Hillhead Jordanhill are going to have to do well to recycle themselves as it crumbles towards the ground. Nelson scrapes the ball back into the hands of Mackenzie. Mackenzie throws a dummy, but it's clawed down just shy of the 5 metre line. It opened up in front of her. Now into the hands of Rachel Law. Right hand fend, dive over the line. And the referee is signalling that's been held up.
You guys on the line? Yes.
I'm going to come back for the penalty.
Back outside, please.
And this is the effort from Rachel Law.
5 green.
Brilliant defensive work from Hillhead Jordanhill.
Yeah, it looked like Kate McGowan there, the second row, that was responsible for holding that up, and fair play to her, because that's a really hard try to hold up.
Thoroughly impressed with her so far for Hills. She's been involved in most things at the line out in open play as well, and defensively that is a phenomenal effort from the Hills middle row.
Who's in the channel? Wait.
Caris Craig waits for the call, launches the ball in, brought down, but it's just veered to the outside shoulder.
Kate, the scrum. On the line.
Good defensive play from Hillhead Jordanhill, and they're able to compete there, just to put off Caris Craig, so the ball just drifts towards that outside shoulder. Big pressure throw in a dangerous area for the Watsonian hooker. It's now time to defend this scrum. Starts to peak up in the middle as Warren waits in the in-goal area.
Just outside.
He's able to scrape the ball away up towards the 22 metre line.
Yeah, it's maybe not got a huge amount of distance on it, but it's done exactly what they needed to do and get out that danger zone.
It's a deceiving wind as well here at Scottish Gas Murrayfield. It swirls throughout the whole day that we've had here on Silver Saturday.
Okay, we need to sort this earlier, okay? Give numbers nice and early, alright? And you?
swirls is a good word, and I'm not sure how we have so many seagulls inside the main bowl here at Scottish Gas Murrayfield today, but whether they're making an impact or not, I don't know, but they could be causing a bit of a wind impact, I suppose.
I'm trying to judge the wind direction off the seagulls at the moment, but I'm struggling to do that. Is Watsonians launch an attack back in field to Tucker, who's charging forward yet again, stooped down, looking to barge her way through the Hills defence. And now to the short side, linking up, it's Craig offloads, and there's a little gap in the corner that is able to be finished. I think it's Shiko who's been able to dot the ball down. I think it might be Snailham actually, who's got the final say on that passage of play. But here, Mackenzie just able to feed, and then back in field was Tucker, charging forward yet again. Hills players trying to haul her down, and Nelson gets the ball away quickly from the base. And that offload there from Craig was impressive to find Snailham just on the wing. And it gives Watsonians a comfortable cushion here in the Sarah Beaney Cup Final. And conversion accurate, just didn't have the distance. So 22 points to 5, they lead. And this was the try, an impressive offload there from Caris Craig.
Yeah, and like we say, we saw there Ailey Tucker trucking it up just as she does, with counted 4 or 5 defenders hanging off her there, just to provide that platform for the forwards as well to pull it out wide and for her to score in the wing. And I think what's been really, really impressive with Watsonians in particular is that no matter forwards or backs or the number that's on their back, they all seem so comfortable with ball in hand and how to move that ball in hand too.
Yeah, the forwards really linking up well as straight from the restart. Guilty of holding on there. There's Walker.
Yeah, she'll be a bit annoyed with that one, but it's such an easy penalty to go away, isn't it? It's just that temptation to hold on at the bottom of the ruck when you're waiting for somebody to come support you.
And it's a good touch finder from Millie Warren. Taking play up towards that Watsonians 22. The line out doesn't go to plan. Watsonians swarm round the ball. Know that they've got mere seconds to play in this first half, and they can escape down the tunnel. Not conceding any further points. It's a powerful charge forward. Nelson waits, Walker's there.
The big clock is right, sorry, I didn't understand you.
And a Swan also in support. But there might be an opportunity out on the fringe. And it's a great break. And it's an opportunity to try and stretch their legs, but the ball doesn't go to hand. And it is going to be the final play of the first half. And that's an opportunity to really
I didn't understand you. Yes,
grasp onto the Sarah Beaney Cup at half time, but as it stands, it is Watsonians who are going to go down the tunnel at half time with a comfortable lead. 5 points to 22 that they lead Hillhead Jordanhill. Rarely have we seen Hillhead inside Watsonians territory. It's been relentless from Watsonians. And on the balance of play, it's probably a fair scoreline, Sarah.
Yeah, I think, like you say, for this first half, it's probably reflective of exactly how the games went itself.
This was the first try that was seen from Snailham, an offload from McNamara to the right winger, and she's bookended this game. A try after a couple of minutes, but it was a try that we thought might have set the tempo for Watsonians. They started with a lot of endeavour, but then after this try that we've seen from Snailham, there was a little bit of a lull between both sides, really playing between the 22s. A couple of opportunities for Watsonians that passed them by, but then it was a reply from Hillhead Jordanhill, and they got their first try of the evening.
Yeah, we're just going to see it here, but just straight from their line out, which we've touched on, it's been quite an impressive line out. But what we can see is them just pulling that ball right to the width of the pitch and offloading right to their winger to allow her to put the gas on and run it in that try, just edge on past Rachel Law at fullback for Watsonians.
Great pace, Rachel Law, just not able to match the pace from Beth Tobin there. And you see in the build up to this try, the work that Roma Fraser does just to lure Conchi onto the challenge, and blocks off McNamara and provides that space for Tobin on the fringe, and a little kick of the heels just sees her on the outside of Rachel Law. But it was perhaps a rare positive for Hillhead Jordanhill in the first half. Very rarely found themselves up towards the Watsonians try line or the Watsonians 22. And then on 23 minutes it was the Watsonians forwards that were able just to blast their way over the Hills line, and it was the Watsonians number 1, Ellie Tuckett, that was just able, with the help of her teammates, to nudge herself over the whitewash.
They were, and like we touched on earlier, they were really patient in this. They didn't panic, they didn't get that white line fever as some people sometimes talk about, but they were really patient and it paid off for them.
23 minutes that Watsonians were able just to muscle their way back into the lead. And then there was relentless pressure from there, and McNamara, who's been involved in most things that Watsonians have done well, found herself on the end of this passage of play. A great pirouette there from Freya Walker, just released McNamara on the wraparound, and she just had the right angle of attack just to arc her way around the line and go in for a try.
Yeah, I really love this try, and like we touched on, Lottie Russell really created that platform there for them to do that, and I'm not sure if it was ballet or rugby that Freya Walker was doing there, but that pirouette definitely set that up there for Bry.
There was an opportunity for Watsonians captain Rachel Law as well, and this was held up. Just some impressive defence there from the covering backs that were able to get across. You see Roma Fraser and Bruce in there, and this was the build up to the next try, the final try in the first half. Another powerful carry from Tucker, who's certainly been industrious in this first half, and then the ball eventually found its way into the palms of Snailham after a great offload from Craig, and she just was able to squeeze over the line for a try. But it was a good example of how Watsonians have approached this game, link up between the backs and the forwards.
Yeah, like we touched on earlier, I think all the forwards and the backs, they're both so comfortable with ball in hand, and they all know how to ship it out wide, and they've got a bit of finesse about them.
On our final game here at Silver Saturday, we are almost home and hosed, but we're at half time in the Sarah Beaney Cup Final, and it's Watsonians who go down the tunnel in the lead. They're leading Hillhead Jordanhill by 5 points to 22. Join us back shortly here for full coverage of the second half.
So the rugby has been a great way to get people back, and the Tut and Touch particularly has kind of helped people that have maybe thought their rugby career was at an end and they were hanging up their boots, and this has just given them a wee chance. So the Tut and Touch works really well because it just gives everybody an opportunity. We probably at this time of year wouldn't have the numbers to do a mini session or a senior session, but when you throw everybody in the mix together, you get a good day like this.
There's a real passion in Carnoustie for rugby anyway, and it's getting out, and the kids love a bit of fresh air, and the mums love it because obviously they sleep after they've done the sessions. It's great. So yeah, the kids love it. They love coming up to play rugby here. They love the hut, and they love the sweets and crisps and everything as well, so that encourages them. And then mums and dads can have teas and coffees as well, so it's a real family atmosphere here at Carnoustie, and the success is the numbers of people that turn up.
I love it. The sense of community, it's amazing. And I've always been on the sidelines watching my brothers play and my dad coach. and it's amazing to actually have the chance to get involved, and it's a bit fun. It's not too serious, there's music going, it's a great way to have some exercise as well.
It's good, yeah.
I've taught them everything they know, by the way.
Stepped him a few times.
Seeing all the stories he told us when he was younger, if they're actually true or if he's just making them all up.
Let's keep them quiet.
It's been really good. My boys are really quite proud of Mummy because they said after the first time that they never thought they'd see me playing rugby, so I'm a only woman in a house of boys, so I just thought, well, if you can't beat them, join them. So.
It's friendly, it's non-competitive, it is so safe. Come down here and just have some fun. And we have had kids coming, and mums and dads and sisters, brothers, grannies. You know, we've had 6-year-olds here up to 78-year-olds here. So just come and look at it, build yourself up a little bit of confidence and come and get involved. You'll just meet friends. They're going to be friends for life. It's rugby. They'll be friends for life, you know.
Yeah, for other hubs hoping to start this, it's easy, it's simple, social and fun. Doesn't involve a lot of resources at all, or a lot of people to start it off. You just need a few. So easy to do. Pitch up and play. Put some cones out. Get a ball. Jouer.
Welcome back to Scottish Gas Murrayfield, where we're at half-time of the final game of Silver Saturday, and it's Watsonians who take the advantage into the final 40 minutes. 22 points to 5 that they lead Hillhead Jordanhill. We've already seen wins for Earlston in the bowl, Wigtownshire in the Women's Shield. The Men's Shield was won by Lenzie, the Men's National Cup by Hillhead Jordanhill, Women's Plate by Annan, and then the Scottish Cup winners GHA. And it has all led us to this final game between Hillhead Jordanhill, who make their way back onto the pitch, and Watsonians, who are just arriving from the tunnel. And Sarah, Hillhead Jordanhill have a lot of work to do in the second half, but where can they get into this game?
Yeah, they do have a lot of work to do, but they'll certainly be backing themselves, and you can see them just in the middle of the pitch there, having their team huddle, having their team talk, and just getting those final messages in about what they're going to do to get back into this game.
If you're tuning in and you're thinking this is going to be one-way traffic, then let me remind you that in the Sarah Beaney Cup this season, it was 34 points to 28 between these sides on the 15th of March. So it was a close game. And also earlier on in the season, in September and October, it was equally as tight. 24 points to 5, Watsonians won, and then 19 points to 35. So both sides capable of scoring points, and the second half is underway. Nelson hands on the ball and gives it to Mackenzie, who gives it to Tucker, who is starting the second half as she finished the first. Mackenzie getting round well, but has passed it into the path of Dunnett, who was quickly wrapped up as she started to get a bit of go forward towards the Watsonians line.
Sorry. Beth
Tobin skips her way down the line and then offloads it back in field, and there's a huge opportunity here for Hillhead Jordanhill, through Carla McDonald, to strike the first blow in the second half. 43 seconds on the clock, and Hillhead Jordanhill have got the first score, and Carla McDonald has made an instant impact for Hills, and that is exactly what they needed.
Yeah, like you say, An instant impact, right enough, because that's 43 seconds I think she's been on the pitch. I think she was a replacement at half time there, and what an impact she's made already. But that came from Beth Tobin, and we've already seen just how dangerous she can be in the first half. And Carla just running that inside line there and finding her way to the try line.
There was an excellent break. Tobin with little room to manoeuvre up the touchline. Was just able to tiptoe her way forward. And it was great support as well from Carla McDonald, who ignited that run from Tobin. But now Millie Warren to add the additional 2 points. And it's just dropped short. Again, accuracy there from the Hills fly half. But she couldn't add the 2 points to this try. And this is the break there from Tobin.
Yeah, you can just see her just brushing past the Watsonians defender there and passing straight inside to Carla. And what a finish from her too.
Excellent finish, great fend. The Watsonians waste little time, they're getting play back underway.
Back.
So Hills in the hands of McDonald, and she fires a pass out wide. There's a different energy about this Hill side in the second half, but they've just given away a penalty and they were making a bit of go forward. Bruce injecting herself into the attacking line. Just ran into a bit of trouble. And it hands possession back to Watsonians.
Yeah, like you say, a slightly different energy we've seen just in the 3 minutes there from the second half from Hill. So I'd love to see what their head coach Stephen Gillis said to them at half time, because it does look like, even just from the 3 minutes that we saw, a slightly different team.
A couple of changes for Watsonians early on in the second half. Tali Toiki and also Sarah Donnelly coming on for Watsonians.
I'm not bothered about who's coming in. I need to know who's coming out, okay? This way, okay? Hills.
Match official.
Your mark, okay?
Trying to make sure the people are in their correct posts.
Sorry.
As Toiki has to sprint towards the tail of that line out to take up position.
Time still off. Time back on. Number 2, take the middle, please. Thank you.
Caris Craig instrumental in the final score in the first half. Aims the ball towards the middle of that line out. It doesn't go to plan. And her opposite number, Frances Campbell, sweeps up at the tail. McDonald scoops underneath that ball. Brilliantly gathered by Nelson, who did little else but charge forward.
Ball is there. Did you see it?
Yeah, like we saw there, that's probably Carla's first kick of the ball, I would have thought, within this second half, and maybe just realising just what impact the wind is having here. It doesn't seem too much like it, but we can feel it ourselves.
Strong gusts of wind here swirling around Scottish Gas Murrayfield. They'll probably play it at Watsonians' hands as they look to keep it close and tight, offloading the ball and changing the point of contact. Mackenzie goes towards the line, darts in field, evades the first challenge, but is then swamped by the on-rushing Hills defence that get there on the scene quickly. Another charge forward, another physical confrontation. First carry for Sarah Donnelly, replacement in the second half. Boot to ball into this deep in-goal area, and now it's a foot race towards that ball, and can it be grounded? Referee quickly there. It does signal that the Hills player have grounded it first.
I'm not sure Brian McNamara is going to.
Time back on. Sorry. Time back. Time off.
I think time might be back on.
I was just going to say, I'm not sure Brian McNamara would agree with you there, but yeah, I think I agree with you there. I think Roma Fraser did get to that ball just slightly before her, but why not argue her case? Right enough.
Rosa Cobham is coming on to the pitch as well. So Reid Phelps is off for Cobham is on, and play is back underway. I did think there was a conversation happening there between the match officials about a potential try or a ground in, but I think that's all been cleared up now. And the ball is being punted towards the halfway line. Nelson retreats backwards to offer up her services. And then I think that's Shiko
Good job.
charging forward. The pods of forwards just waiting, willing to carry the ball forward for this Watsonian side. To Wakey, fresh from her exertions at the Celtic Challenge with Edinburgh.
Leave her.
Mackenzie to Tucker. Tucker getting the ball through the hands, and McNamara did brilliantly to gather that ball on the turn and carry it forward with a couple of Hills defenders for company. Nelson keeping the tempo. Mackenzie to Walker. Mackenzie ghosting in behind, goes for the cross-field kick, but it's been charged down, but it's fallen straight into the path of the Watsonians team. They're able to scoop it up and then press the reset button and go again and attack down that east stand side. But great defence from Hillhead Jordanhill.
Leave that. You don't need that. Leave that ball. Leave that ball. High tackle.
There has been a high challenge, which is going to afford another opportunity to kick this down the touchline.
Yeah, I was just about to agree with you that there've been really good defence there from Hills, aside from that high tackle, but really good improved defence from Hills here in the second half, and you can see that Watsonians, they aren't making ground just as easily as they were in the first half.
Scrum called. The last line out didn't go to plan.
Same hard work you were doing in the first
So looking
half,
to go for the scrum. And there's a few intriguing battles lined up in the back division between these two sides. Mackenzie, who's starting to have a little bit more of an influence in this game, waits on the 22-metre line. She now receives the ball from Nelson. Flat pass towards McNamara, and the space has been manipulated, and now it's a foot race to the line, but Coben can't get back quick enough. And it's a reply from Watsonians.
What are the high tackles? I said I wore the first half.
First phase ball. And it was well worked there, and I think that is Amy Conchi who got the final say. But again, Mackenzie with that flat pass towards the line just brings McNamara into play. And it's a good finish there, albeit a sore one for Amy Conchi. And she gets a try in the Sarah Beaney Cup Final and starts to swing the momentum back towards Watsonians.
Yeah, and she'll be really pleased with that, and I know she's down getting a little bit treatment at the moment, but she will be really pleased with that, and ultimately that's what dreams are made of. Scoring tries as a winger from set piece at Scottish Gas Murrayfield on Cup Finals days. What more can you ask for?
Not to be winded during it, probably. But she's back on her feet now. And the conversion attempt is starting to curl towards the uprights. And that's a successful conversion for April Mackenzie, who is starting to grow into this game and have more and more of an influence. And this was the finish from Amy Conchi after some good interlinking play from the backs.
Yeah, it was a really lovely set-piece move. You saw Rachel Law come in at full back as a dummy runner, and then just finding the space out wide for her to score as well.
Again, another penalty straight from the restart, and Captain Humans goes quickly and is able to find Cobham. Jasmine Hall. The player's been relatively quiet in this game.
Come on, guys.
Penalty given away.
Hold in. You alright? Sorry, can I have you on side, please? Thank you. When you're ready.
Chance for McNamara to clear the lines for Watsonians. 19 points is the cushion that they've currently got. Half an hour remains in this final. A final which has been played on 4 previous occasions between these two sides, 2 apiece. And Watsonians, after missing out in the Premiership final, will be wanting some sort of silverware to celebrate a long season.
Yeah, it is really quite a long season when you talk about it. Both the league campaign and then the cup campaign too, with the group stages, quarters, semis. It's taken its toll, and all these players are incredibly fit to go through all those games of rugby as well.
And throw in the Celtic Challenge, which a lot of these players have been involved in. It's been a relentless season which culminates in this game. And you can guarantee that Hills are not out of it yet. Millie Warren taking it off Hill's most recent try scorer, Carla McDonald. Cobham. He's been heavily involved since her arrival in this game. McDonald, as first receiver, finds Warren in the wider channels now to try and release Roma Fraser. Quick to the breakdown is Miles to try and just get the ball away. Watsonians trying to slow it down, concede the penalty.
I cannot shout louder, Rach. No mark.
Looking for a physical carry to try and just get in behind that Watsonians defence, and they're asking Zammer to do that, and then they're in behind on the second attempt, and then they're in for the try. And it's Debbie Lee with the try, and it came from a powerful first carry from the second row, Aisha Zammer. And in the second wave, Debbie Lee just able to power her way over the try line. Great footwork initially, but you can see Debbie Lee just plucking the ball up, catching up the Watsonians defence pretty cold. That's a powerful carry, and nothing was stopping her getting that try.
Yeah, really great play from Debbie Lee. They're absolutely backing herself to get over that try line. And like we've seen, she's been in and around the game, both first half and the second half, and really providing some clinical tackles and clinical carries as well. And she's got the reward.
17-29 with a successful conversion. So Millie Warren gets her first conversion of the afternoon, and it came after this powerful carry, but Debbie Lee straight through the heart of that ruck, just notices there's nobody guarding in behind. And I'm not sure who got that final, or tried to put in that final challenge for Watsonians, but they're now back on their feet anyway. That was a powerful carry from Debbie Lee. Tucker. Ball into midfield. Physical challenge there on Law. Stopped dead. As Watsonians again have to react. McNamara. Ball through the hands. Kelly King.
Release, Green! You see 9?
Walker again acts as first receiver.
No hands, Gills! No hands! I need a tackler to
Mackenzie. A deeper pass this time. He's not able to find Shiko. Fumbled forward. And again, the Hills defence has come up trumps.
Yeah, we've definitely seen an improved performance from Hill's defence in the second half, and this 15 minutes into the second half, we've probably seen, I think it's fair to say, we've seen a little bit of a difference from Watsonians as well. Have been critical in any way or shape or form. I think they've been quite flat in attack compared to the first half, where there was a lot of depth, there was a lot of running onto the ball, and a lot of impulsion and a lot of pace, and maybe it's just been a little bit more flat this time, and it's perhaps why they're not quite getting over the gain line and with the same impulsion that they were in the first half.
Rihanna Darragh is going to come on for Janice Miles. So replacement at scrum half. What can that bring for this Hill side?
Yeah, I think that's going to be really interesting to see, because we've obviously seen that Carly McDonald came on at standoff as well. So maybe that change, that half-back partnership might just be what brings them back into this game a little bit more.
McDonald has been impressive since she's come on. A try after 43 seconds. She's got her hands in the ball yet again. Millie Warren playing with a little bit more freedom that she's won out as well. Fumble in contact gives possession back to Watsonians.
Okay, time up. I need you to take this. Well, you get more, please. Time off, yeah? Yeah. Time off. I'm just double checking. If it's a red, it's still not. And there was a rip, but then she lost control. Like, it was a attempt of a rip, there was no rip, and she lost control forward. So that's why.
Beatrice Cesares Fernandez in conversation with some of the players. An opportunity to take stock, take breath, and see where this game's going to be going next, Sarah.
Yeah, absolutely, and she's been really good in the middle so far, really clear, concise with her communication and what she's expecting of the players, and what she won't stand for as well, which is exactly what you need for a referee in the middle of the pitch.
I was going to just tell you.
Keeping warm in the stands as well here at a cold Scottish Gas Murrayfield at Easter weekend. I'm not familiar with the current trends of dancing, so I'm just going to have to kind of limber about up here with you, Sarah.
So yeah, that was positive. But
you can see both teams just having a conversation with her there and asking how they want the game to be played, because ultimately each match official and each referee has things that they will stand for and things that they won't stand for, and ways in which they will let the game flow as well, which is really important.
Yeah, it's an interesting comment as well, because we all say that about letting games flow. All referees play to the same laws, but they all have different interpretations of it, and you do feel that this game has had that element of flow to it. I think all the games that I've watched here this afternoon have had that. They just allow that little bit more advantage, or allow the benefit of the doubt of some teams as well. And I think that's what we've seen here so far in this game. It's not been stop-start. There's been clear infringements or clear knock-ons, but certainly had a flow to it.
Yeah, absolutely, and you can see both teams trying to play with that flow, that expansive style of rugby, and they know what a big occasion this is, and what a big pitch it is to play on as well. And I don't think you realise just until you're on the pitch just how much space I've got to cover and how far that pass that I'm going to make has to go too.
Yeah, it's a big pitch. We've seen some blistering tries here on Silver Saturday, and some of it has been afforded by the space which has been present on the pitches. They're almost ready to get play back underway. Entering the final quarter of this game.
I think that's a really good rendition that I'm hearing from the Hill supporters of Natasha Bedingfield's Unwritten, Dale.
Not familiar.
It's a classic.
I'll hear my my Walkman somewhere in a cupboard. As Watsonians, from that crumbling scrum, are able to get the ball into the wider channels. Have a test of the Hill's defence out wide. And it has passed that test and passed it with flying colours, but it comes back to the penalty advantage from the scrum.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting what Watsonians decide to do here. Like we've mentioned, they have seemed a little bit of a different team in this second half than they were perhaps in the first half.
It's a difficult position to be in a one-off game, have a comfortable lead. How do you approach it? Do you stick with what was going well for you? Because there seems to be a little bit of a step off from Watsonians that is perhaps allowed a little bit more confidence to grow on this Hill side. However, it's perhaps just been squeezed out them somewhat by an impressive kick downfield by Brian McNamara.
Yeah, Watsonians with a line out here, and I think what I'd really like to see with them here is a little bit more depth in attack and what they're used to and what they're able to do as well and what they know they can do. But going by the Hill supporters, they certainly back their team, that's for sure.
They're very vocal as this ball is launched back into play. Line out not going to plan for Watsonians, not for the first time in this game. A dangerous area, a big line out, and it's been well dealt with by the Hill side. Perhaps encouraged by Natasha Bedingfield Unwritten.
I'm glad you now know that classic song, Dale. Yeah, exactly. I think, look, it's a defensive line. I think they'll be looking to clear their lines and get back up that field, because being down in the way in which they are, with almost just over 20 minutes to go in this Sarah Beaney Cup Final, they'll be looking to come back into it.
2 tries in the second half from Hillhead Jordanhill. McDonald and Lee with those efforts. 1 from Watsonians. Conchi with 1 down in this corner where this scrum is about to take place. And it is a put into the scrum to Watsonians on a favourable side to attack from. A flat attacking line from Watsonians in the back division as Walker is linking up and is able to find Mackenzie, who can squirm through, tries to roll over the line, and eventually the try is awarded. The referee called it was short, but the pats in the back are going to Mary Nelson. And we can have a look here. Great break from Nelson, finds Mackenzie, who bounces off that right foot, dives towards the line, and the number 9, Mary Nelson, just grabs the ball and arrows herself towards that left hand upright and gives Watsonians a bit of comfort now. Double the points tally that Hillhead Jordanhill have, 17 points to 34.
Yeah, fair play to Mary Nielsen there. I could not see her in amongst that breakdown there, and absolutely fair play to April Mackenzie running that line too. I'm not sure if she maybe forgot she was a standoff or if she was a crash ball 12, but that was great.
Mackenzie stops short of the line but is able to get the conversion on a try that she was the catalyst to. A twist and a turn towards that line. The Hills players getting back well, but Nelson just dives over the line.
Yeah, we just saw Hillhead there, just trying to take that restart really quickly and then trying to do it really quickly and trying to get more points in that scoreboard. The kick didn't go 10, which was really unfortunate for them at this stage in the game.
We are now in the final quarter. The final 20 minutes of Silver Saturday, and requiring some confirmation of who is going to win the final piece of silverware. The Sarah Beaney Cup up for grabs between Hillhead, Jordanhill and Watsonians. Earlston, Wigtonshire, Lenzie, Hillhead, Jordanhill, Annan and GHA have all been able to leave Scottish Gas Murrayfield with silverware this afternoon. And Watsonians currently in the driving seat to retain the trophy that they won against this opposition last year.
Yeah, with a scrum in the middle of the field, you can see their backs are set up in some sort of funky formation, and they're looking to pull something off here too.
Briar McNamara again just powering her way through challenges. As Law goes low and powers through as well.
21. 21.
And it looks like it's going to be a yellow card for Carla McDonald. I think it's for a dangerous challenge.
That's unlucky for Carla there. Like we saw, we scored in the opening quarters of this second half, and that's the highest and highs and the lowest of lows, and the risks that you take when you're playing at standoff and when you're playing in a cup finals day as well.
So Hills will enter an important period in this game. Down to 14 players. You'd imagine Millie Warren will have to dig in one. Back to 10. Be harder work from the back three to cover that outside channel as well. Watsonians throw into the line out. It's been pawed back this time, not cleanly, but they'll be happy to retain possession just shy of the Hills 22 metre line. Anna Swan, another towering carry. Mackenzie close to the line, feeds Tucker back inside. She has been a bundle of energy in this game, but it's just run into a little bit of danger.
Yeah, just prior to that, you mentioned Anna Swan there, and what a figure for women's rugby within Scotland. She's been such a talisman for this Watsonian side over the last couple of seasons, and I'm sure she'll not mind me saying, but yeah, 39 years of age, and she's still out there playing with the young kids, and like we say, she's been such a talisman for women's rugby in Scotland, and former Scotland international, and played in a few World Cups as well.
15 caps to her name. A very experienced player to lean on as Watsonians steal the line out. Yeamans was all over that ball on the ground, but just muscled off. As Sarah Donnelly ducks forward, powers forward. Great pivot. Mackenzie, and there's numbers up outside, and this is perhaps the void that has been left by the departure of Carla McDonald. Great covering defence there. Phaedra Snellam, 2 tries to her name so far, and stopped from getting any additional ones. And this Hills defence now is starting to look stretched. As Sarah Donnelly feeds back inside to Tucker, and bundles Hills players over in her wake.
Yeah, you can see exactly where Watsonians are looking to exploit things out in the back line there with that overlap and the man up as well, and you can see exactly what they're trying to do. But fair play to Hills, they're standing steady and they're putting in those tackles when they do come from Watsonians.
Yeah, and they've turned over the ball as well, and they're trying to escape their own zone. I feel Watsonians perhaps went too wide too early. Millie Warren is looking to kick the ball clear. It's been allowed to bounce. It's then palmed back in by Mackenzie.
Forward.
And then Shannon Macy kicked the ball forward. You can see the conversation they're having about the potential for a penalty that was tried to be kept in the field of play. It is went forward where a Watsonians player was in a forward position.
We're going to wait for you because we need you.
And it's going to be a scrum put into Hillhead Jordanhill. And I think Tucker
Don't worry about it. Forget about it.
is needing some
Join, okay?
running repairs there.
Good job. No, that's okay.
Yeah, I think it's just about that time in the game, 66 minutes, where everyone is just needing that little bit of breather. So time off, and you know, we hope Ailey's okay, but time off, and everyone will be taking the breather and looking to regroup for this final quarter of the game and final quarter of Silver Saturday here at Scottish Gas Murrayfield.
Yeah, Tucker has been an important part of this Watsonian side, but there's been a lot of impressive performances on both sides. But Watsonians are in the driving seat. I feel Tucker has been instrumental in getting a bit of go forward for this Watsonian side. She's industrious, she's always looking for a carry, she's been good in the scrum, she's got her try, and she's getting a heavy strapping on that right knee as well. So
Yeah.
she certainly want to see this game out.
Yeah, see it out, and so she will. And I was fortunate enough to play alongside Ailey a few years ago in a Watsonian side, a number of years ago now, let's be honest. So I know fine well that she will absolutely put her body on the line for this team. And like we say, she is so strong and bringing that farmer strength to absolutely every single carry and everything she does as well on the pitch.
Taped up, ready to go again on the left hand side of this scrum. And they collide in the front rows. The ball rolled in, and certainly no ill effect shown there as this Hill scrum is just steamrolled by that Watsonians pack. It is a physical, dominant scrum there.
Yeah, absolutely. You would not want to be on the receiving end of that, and you can see what it means to those Watsonians girls and just the impact that they've had, and you can see Ailey getting shot back up, but then leading, for example, in the front row of that scrum, and yeah, fair play. That's some shift.
It's an impressive scrum. It's been one of those scrums. It's not really shown much of a dominance either side throughout the game, but all of a sudden, I don't know what was in that strapping on that knee of Ailey Tucker, but it certainly worked.
Confidence, I think.
Yeah, perhaps entering the final stages of the cup final. Watsonians in the driving seat. You would feel that another score might cement their place. As 3-time back-to-back winners.
Yeah, just after those little breaks in play there, you feel that Watsonians are they're in control. They're back in control again, maybe more so than they were in the first half of this second half, if you like. And they look to be playing more like themselves once again.
Tawiki carries forward, Nelson distributes from the base, Mackenzie then filters it forward, but it just fell into the clutches of a Hillhead's Jordanhill player, and it looks like Roma Fraser is going to streak her way down the pitch and go in between the uprights, and it is a breakaway try, and it has breathed life back into the Hillhead Jordanhill cause. Down to 14 players, and they score against the run of play. And it is Roma Fraser yet again for this Hill side, who's able to show her pace and capitalise on a Watsonians error. Just not able to bounce up in front of Briar McNamara quick enough. And after that, it's just a matter of pace.
Yeah, Roma absolutely read that impeccably, and you saw her absolutely back herself, and you can see just what an exciting young talent she is at fullback, and you can see why she was probably one of the most influential players for Glasgow Warriors in the Celtic Challenge. Scored a really good try for them, which took everyone by not surprise, but everyone by delight at just the manner in which she's able to conduct her work on the pitch. And we just saw just a glimpse of it there, and that's perhaps maybe the only glimpse that we've had so far from her and from the Hills back three really in this game.
It's the only real opportunity that she's had. I remember early on in the season a game at Goldenacre when Hills swept Heriots aside Roma Fraser was prominent in that game, as was Beth Tobin. But they were allowed the chance to play rugby. And you feel that Watsonians know the threat that they cause, and they perhaps nullified that threat until that moment there. Hills now looking to break through the line again, which they have. Over the halfway line, the support must arrive quickly for Hills. But it's been turned over.
Yeah, Abby Bruce there with that outside centre there for Hills with that break, and she's been really good all afternoon. Really impressed with her, and she's not somebody I admittedly know too much about, but she's been really good for them.
Watsonians now, as the game starts to open up and break through, getting behind that defensive line. Replacement Donnelly again carries forward. She's been tasked with a lot of physical action in the second half, as is Tucker. For the 70 minutes that she's been involved, Mackenzie out the back to Law. Law filters it out wide to Shannon Macy. Law has to get low to clear out the danger and does brilliantly well against a couple of Hills players that were there looking to try and dispatch of her. The Lions carries forward but carries into trouble. And Hills get the penalty yet again. And we're approaching that moment where we might see the reintroduction of Carla McDonald, and there's been a 7-point swing in that time, but it's went the way of Hills. Millie Warren kicks off. And we've still got time to play on the card.
Yeah, it's really good to see Hills here, just taking their time at the line out. I think just before the end of the first half there, when we saw that they did have a line out, it looked like they were really rushing it, and understandably so, because they were wanting to try and get the game moving, get some points on the board. But there's a couple of times it just didn't pay off for them. So it was really nice to see, although we've got a break and play now, it was really nice to see them just taking their time, walking into it and getting set.
Alicia Duncan has come on for Watsonians.
13 Watsonians.
And I think the player going off is Giselle Chico.
She's already up, guys. Come on.
So a couple of a replacement for Watsonians. The final stages of this game. 8 minutes remain here at Scottish Gas Murrayfield. As the lights illuminate the pitch, as the sky overhead gets a little bit darker. And Hills are still a player shy. Good play there from Hills. They were signalling at the time, knew exactly when the yellow card was up, and we've seen the reintroduction now of Carla McDonald. She took 43 seconds to score when she was first introduced to the game, so let's see what she does now.
Yeah, you never know. Carla as well, such an influential player for Hills, and you can see the style of play she plays with, really similar to her sister Mary as well, who's obviously a Scotland internationalist too, and has also played standoff for Hills, and you can just see that in the style of play that they have, and the style of which she kicks as well. It must be a family trait.
Alicia Duncan with her first carry. Travels forward, Mackenzie now finds Law, and Law is absolutely hammered, and that looked like a dangerous collision. Difficult with Rachel Law, such an evasive short player, but that looked like a physical challenge on the Watsonians captain.
It did, but to me it didn't look too malicious, but one of those rugby incidents, but we'll hope Rachel's okay from that one, because it did look particularly sore.
14.
Tobin being called.
So I have full play, she always straight up, direct head contact at high speed, it's going to be a red card.
I'm sorry, Roma Fraser, I thought it was 14 being called, but Roma Fraser has been shown a red card for that collision on her opposite number, Rachel Law. In real time, it was a rugby collision, it was a rugby incident. It did look like a physical confrontation there, but Roma Fraser is going to play no further part in the Sarah Beaney Cup Final. And Hillhead Jordanhill again down to 14 players.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate from Hills, and like you said, Dale, in real time it looked just like a rugby incident and not malicious at all. Roma will be really disappointed with that, and as will Hills, but they'll bounce back from. They've been 14 people down already, and they've scored a try within that time, so they'll play next draw.
Ball kicked into the corner, setting the platform for another Watsonians attack, looking to secure this victory, secure the destiny of the Sarah Beaney Cup for this season. The target has been hit, the driving maul has started to splinter towards the left hand side, centre field as Nelson stoops down, finds the on-rushing forwards. The next wave comes forward, but it's been fumbled. Again, excellent defence from this Hill side. Able to thwart yet another Watsonians attack.
Time off. Who's coming off?
Carly Hall for Watsonians, number 20. Is coming onto the pitch. And Ailey Tucker has had an impressive 74 minutes and 20 seconds in the Sarah Beaney Cup Final. Thoroughly impressed with her efforts this evening.
Yeah, like you say, 74 minutes, but I might be wrong, but I think she played quite a lot, if not most minutes for Glasgow Warriors in the Celtic Challenge. So she's a front row, but she's a front row that's very, very used to playing a lot of time and a lot of games too.
Yeah, I think Rachel Law has also been asked to go down the tunnel and perhaps just get a little check after her collision, which is great to see that she's been forced to be taken away from the game.
Yeah, Rachel, it's probably best just to be checked there. Rachel's a tough cookie, but she's also an incredibly sensible cookie too, so she'll know for herself that it's better to be checked and better to be safe than sorry.
Hills in a dangerous area are able to break free from their own try line. They still have the ball in hand. Beth Tobin darts back in field. Distributed by Darrick from the base. Darrick quick again to get the ball into the wider channels. Watsonians desperately clinging on, just to dispel any hope of a comeback here for Hillhead Jordanhill.
Yeah, like you say, they're desperately clinging on. There's some really, really tired bodies, some really, really tired players out there, and it just shows just exactly how much they've gave to this Sarah Beaney Cup Final here at Scottish Gas Murrayfield this evening, and how much it means to every single one of them that they're all putting their bodies on the line.
I think that's a very, very good option to go for the sticks. 12 points is the advantage at the moment. We take it to that 15-point mark. Not a lot of time left in the cup final, but cup finals tend to bring weird and wonderful moments, and Mackenzie has got the chance to final nail in Hillhead Jordanhill's coffin, and it's successful. And I think from the reaction of the Watsonians players, they think they know they're imminently going to be crowned Cup champions, as the stadium announces that the player of the match for the Sarah Beaney Cup Final is the fly half April Mackenzie, which from the balance of play, when we were speaking about the way that she was being involved, I'm not surprised, because she's had a very good game, brought both her backs and forwards into the game, and she could potentially have the final say as well with that penalty.
Yeah, absolutely, and she's somebody that I would agree with as player of the match for this Sarah Beaney Cup Final too. I think she's, like you say, she's linked the forwards and the backs exceptionally well, and that goes for every one of those Watsonians players, and like we were saying earlier, in the first half they all know and they're all very comfortable with the job in hand.
Final stages is going to see a penalty to Hillhead Jordanhill. Final couple of minutes, possession relinquished. Another opportunity for Hills. Carla McDonald able to bring Coben into play, and then they splinter through. An opportunity here for Hills to get over the try line. The referee signals it's been grounded. I'm just looking for confirmation on the try scorer, but it was a great break through the line. They can't they?
Yeah, as you see there, Debbie Lee just with the break and the carry, and she's been somebody who's been so influential all game, and it looks to be the captain Katie Yomis as well, who got over the try line there.
Yeah, the captain Yeomans is the try scorer, so that narrows the margins now. 31-39 is the score. 40 seconds remain. Watsonians taking all the time that they can to get back towards the halfway line to take this restart. Kick downfield, the ball bouncing, scooped up by Captain Yeomans. The clock ticking. The north and the south stand here at Scottish Gas Murrayfield. Only a few seconds remain. Warren tries to get the ball wider. Mackenzie in the road. The game will continue. Penalty advantage. And free ball to play with here for Hillhead Jordanhill. McDonald, Warren, ball two hands, ghosting forward, rolls into the path of Mackenzie. Being held up over the halfway line now. The charges arrive to drive them forward further. And they'll come back for that penalty. Any realistic hopes of a victory are well beyond Hillhead Jordanhill now. They still want to narrow the margins and get the final say in this game.
Yeah, like you say, we've seen a totally different team from Hills here in the second half, and I think they've been buoyed on by their supporters here, and been buoyed on by their senior men's side who came out into the stands as well, following their triumphant victory earlier on this afternoon too. So it's really great to see the entire club and just the amount of support that are here for them today.
And that's exactly what this day is all about, the club game. And Hillhead Jordanhill, their women's team getting supported by the entire club. And what will be a narrow defeat against Watsonians as McDonald stabs the ball forward. The ball is ended up in the hands of a Hills player who can streak forward and get the final score in this game. Jasmine Hall with the final try in the Sarah Beaney Cup Final. Conversion to come means that Hillhead Jordanhill will miss out on the trophy by the narrowest of margins. And it's a matter of what might have been for Hills had they started the first half a little bit more positive. A collision of Watsonians players meant it was open prairie for Jasmine Hall to get the final try. Kick to come, and then confirmation of the final result.
Yeah, fair play to Jasmine there. She kept her eyes on the ball the entire time and never took her eyes off the ball, and led to that last try and the last say of the game for Hills.
How important was that penalty on 76 minutes from April McKenzie, the player of the match, has sealed victory in the Sarah Beaney Cup Final for Watsonians. 39 points to 38.
Yeah, there's not many people who can say that they've scored a penalty and kicked a penalty at Scottish Gas Murrayfield on Cup Finals Day, but April's certainly one of those now, and at the end of the day, that penalty was such a definitive moment for this Cup Final, and it's what led to the 1 point lead at the end of the day.
We were discussing it during commentary that we thought it was an important kick to have. It just kind of takes the wind out of the sails, but little did we know that Hillhead Jordanhill were going to fight back into the game and score at the death. It would have been a 2 point win had that penalty not went over the sticks. But it is Watsonians who are going to be crowned Sarah Beaney Cup winners this year, as both squads congratulate each other on that. What was an entertaining game, a fitting end to what has been an action-packed Silver Saturday here at Scottish Gas Murrayfield.
Yeah, exactly. It's been such a fantastic day here with 7 finals right across the day, starting at 10 o'clock this morning and run right the way through to this evening. And like we like to touch on in earlier commentary within these finals days, that it's not just about what happens on the pitch, it's about some of the, as cheesy as it sounds, some of the memories that are made and some of the moments that you'll remember for months and years to come, and what these players and families and friends will look back on at the time that they got to play on the main pitch here at Scottish Gas Murrayfield.
And players entering the final stages of their career, some players just starting their senior club career, volunteers that have dedicated their life to clubs, get an opportunity to celebrate on what is a weekend for the domestic game, the foundations that support the whole ecosystem of Scottish rugby. This is where the players are nurtured and born and grown and supported. And April McKenzie is evidence of that as she collects her Player of the Match award. The match winner for Watsonians.
Yeah, like you've touched on already, it's such an important competition and such an important day and festival for nurturing that next generation of talent. And we've seen so many, particularly in the women's game, so many internationalists come through the Sarah Beaney Cup Final, and those they're playing today, this afternoon for Scotland Brown against England as well. They've quite a few of them have been so heavily featured here for both Watsonians and Hills over the years too.
Kate Yeomans leads up her Hills team to collect their runners-up medals. This year supplied by Oak and Black. They're a sustainable award for the 300 players that have been taking part in Silver Saturday throughout the day. And they'll get a beautifully handcrafted, sustainable oak medal from a local business based in East Lothian. And it'll be something which they will cherish for a long, long time. And I mentioned for Hills as well, because we think about the finish to that game. But you also then have to look at the start. 22 points to 5, they were down at half time. We said when they came out, they had a lot of work to do, they almost had a mountain to climb. But they'll be thinking, what if we just got off to a better start in this game? They conceded after 3 minutes. And they'll be thinking that if they got off to a better start, they might have had a better opportunity of lifting the Sarah Beaney Cup.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think we touched on it earlier, but maybe some of those Hillhead, Jordanhill players, maybe slightly less experienced at this level of the game, and certainly at these sorts of occasions as well, which can all play into it, particularly in the first half of a cup final, such as the Sarah Beaney Cup.
Match officials as well, getting their awards, their acknowledgements of their participation in what was an excellent game here between these two sides. 3 years on the trot. Watsonians have picked up the trophy, and the match officials played their part in what was an exciting, free-flowing game of rugby between these two sides.
Yeah, and like you say, Dale, it's so important these match officials are recognised in the way in which they are, because without them there is no game of rugby, and we owe them a lot of time, to the time, a lot of gratitude to the time that they give up to officiate the game that we all love.
Led up by April McKenzie this time, the player of the match, is the first player to receive her award. In Taweke as well, an impact off the bench. A lot of players who featured heavily throughout the game and played their part in what was a successful 80 minutes. They were the team that played for the full 80. Perhaps slipped off a little bit towards the end, but some of these players will be enjoying another successful trip to Scottish Gas Murrayfield.
Yeah, a successful trip, and a successful short trip from my side. So, yeah, they'll be enjoying this evening, I'm sure.
A sustainable short trip for Watsonians. A lot of good performances in that team. Before the game, you talk about players like Brian McNamara who showed up, but Snailham, 2 tries, perhaps a little bit quieter throughout the game, but those 2 tries are pivotal. The penalty from April McKenzie, she started to have a little bit more impact in the game as it grew and went on. But a couple of players there as well. Lottie Russell, Nana Swan, who's just got her medal, tireless the way that they carried the ball. And then one of my selections that was up in the running for player of the match, Ailey Tucker. I thought she was phenomenal throughout the full game.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about Ailey, but you mentioned it there, that second row partnership of Lottie Russell and Anna Swan. Probably not as flashy, not as showy as you see some of the backs being, but certainly doing a lot of the unseen work to provide the platform there for the backs to go out and do the flashy stuff, as we like to call it.
Rachel Law in conversation. Medal hung around her neck now, showing no ill effects of that physical collision as she makes her way down towards the front and confirms the Sarah Beaney Cup winners this year are Watsonians. 39 points to 38 victors over Hillhead, Jordanhill, and the celebrations can now commence.
Yeah, and what's really lovely to see in there is I think Anna Swan's got maybe 1 or 2 of her kids in there too, which is just so fantastic to see. And what's been really, really good is just prior to kick off today, we saw both youth and youth sections and women's and boys and girls from both sides out there doing a guard of honour, and I think that's what it's all about, is providing inspiration for the next generation of particularly women and girls in this fixture.
Couldn't agree more. You have to have these little sprinkles of inspiration to really grab the imagination of the youngsters, and days like this are the kind of cornerstone of it all. The game cannot grow without it, and it's great to see some of the youngsters enjoying the celebrations at the moment sensibly, until they probably get a little bit wilder later on, but it's great to see these youngsters being involved, and as well the hard work, the dedication that these players and volunteers and coaches, the sacrifices that they make to play the game of rugby.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned sacrifice, and I think for all those volunteers, players, coaches, match officials, everyone involved in the game, it's time, and it takes a lot of time and dedication to give to the game to make it what it is.
And I mention as well for the coaching team at Watsonians, we sometimes see the coaches make their way in towards that photo, but Bruce Miller currently acting as photographer on the sidelines to capture the moment, making sure his players are in the limelight. But these teams are set up in a certain way, and it's testament to the Watsonians coaching staff that they approach this game in the right manner, and Bruce Miller and his coaching team will be happy with their efforts this evening.
Yeah, they will be. Bruce, you mentioned there, and I think former Scotland internationalist Sarah Beaney is also in the coaching team there, so she's a quiet one, but she'll be one that's very, very proud of them this evening too.
So in the second half, it got off to a blistering start. It was a break from Tobin down the touchline that ended up finding the replacement who'd been on the field for 43 seconds, Carla McDonald. She had an eventful 40 minutes here at Scottish Gas Murrayfield, but that was the start of it in the second half, and that was the start of the comeback, really.
The comeback that I suppose wasn't ultimately supposed to be, but like we say, it was a totally different team we saw from Hills here in the second half compared to the first half, and they had just a little bit more about them. So, like I say, I'd like to see or being a fly on the wall that they're in their change room at half time.
And then the ball got into the wider channels. McNamara just able to lure the defence out. And Conche, the wingers both had relatively quiet games, but when they were involved, they had end products like this. We had 2 tries from Snellham in the first half, and then Conche getting on the end of this one to get an instant reply from Watsonians.
Yeah, and what I loved about this one too is it was straight from the set piece, and it's a winger's dream really. That set piece move, the dummy runners, and the finish in the corner there.
Beth Tobin just not able to get across quick enough to thwart that effort. But then from the penalty, we were speaking about needing to get in behind that Watsonians defensive line, and Zammer was deployed, and then it was picked up by Debbie Lee, and she was just able to power her way towards the line and dot down for a score. And Hillhead, Jordanhill was certainly not lying down.
No, they weren't, and like we said just there, we saw them being a different team in the second half, and really getting over the gain line. I don't think we saw that too much from them in the first half, but certainly the second half they put Watsonians on the back foot and certainly got over that gain line and made impulsions and made impressions and pierced holes in their defence.
The next try was one that took us a while to suss out, but after a great break from player of the match, April McKenzie, it was Mary Nelson who got the score, just torpedoing herself towards the bottom of that post protector after a great break from McKenzie.
Yeah, fair play to Mary Nielsen there. Upon replay, I still can't see her, so I'm not sure how she dotted it down, but she did, and the ref saw that too, so absolutely, what another class try from Watsonians.
Hillhead Jordanhill were down to 14 players, and when Watsonians were trying to get to the fringe, they were getting there a bit too quick, and on this occasion it was picked off by Roma Fraser, and she was able just to scorch her way up the full length of the pitch to go in for a try, and it certainly started to become a little bit more nerve-wracking for this Watsonian side round about this point.
It did, and you saw here just Roma's instinct and ability to read the game and really pluck things out of thin air and then back herself with the speed that she's blessed with as well.
An excellent try, lung-busting effort there from the fullback. And then this was a try from the captain, Yeomans. What you have missed is the penalty from McKenzie, April McKenzie. They opted to go for the sticks. It was a 15-point cushion at this point, but with Yeomans going over and the conversion from Warren, it meant we had an 8-point game with a couple of minutes remaining.
It did, and in the build-up to that try, we saw Debbie Lee there. Again, maybe one of the quieter ones about the pitch, but her work was definitely some of the most important work on the pitch for Hills this evening, which led to them being ultimately in the mix with only a few moments to go.
And then the final say of the Sarah Beaney Cup Final did go to Jasmine Hall. This collision centre field that left a few players tumbling to the ground. Amongst all the chaos arrived Jasmine Hall, and she was able to gather the ball, go in for a try. The conversion meant that was your full-time score. That penalty from McKenzie, pivotal in deciding the destination of the Sarah Beaney Cup, and it means the final score here is Watsonians 39, Hillhead Jordanhill 38. So Watsonians are Sarah Beaney Cup winners this year. Our congratulations to Earlston, Wigtonshire, Lindsay, Hillhead, Jordanhill, Annan and GHA, and also Watsonians, all victors here on Silver Saturday at Scottish Gas Murrayfield. Congratulations to all the other teams for making their way towards HQ here in Edinburgh and for what has been a fantastic day. Thank you very much for joining us throughout from the early morning into early evening, and we look forward to seeing you back here soon. Thank you very much from all the team.